Welcome to this video. Today we're going to take a look at the Delonghi Rivelia, and this is a machine a lot of people have been curious about, so we're going to do a review on it. I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants like I normally do. So first of all, I have this here in the middle because I got to shift it over and I have to use both hands like this. It doesn't have any handles anywhere on it, so for me to place it anywhere here on my workspace, that's a little bit annoying, to be honest. And before I forget to do it, let's take a look at this machine on all sides, because it is a pretty handsome machine, admittedly. So obviously here is the front of the machine. I currently have the milk carafe attached. Let's take a look at the side. That is what the side of the machine looks like. And it does look quite a bit different because you've got your water reservoir here on the side. It doesn't slide in and out like it normally would. Instead, you kind of just place it in there like so. Let's take a look at the other side. We've got some vents here on the side, and finally on the top we've also got some vents, which is very important. You always want your spent pucks to be able to let off their heat so that it doesn't mold inside. And talking about that, we do have two pretty interesting things here. You've got this removable chute. So if you want to put in your own pre-ground espresso, you can do that. And the nice thing is you can just remove this sucker and clean it out really good, because this can form mold on it as well. So that's a nice feature. You've also got your water spout hidden in the top, which is a cool thing as well. So you've got everything nice and handy right there, as well as a scoop. Now, point of contention, a lot of people are not going to like this machine ergonomically because the display is on the top. With the display being on the top, it may be too high on your countertop for little ones to get to. For example, our kids can't very easily see the screen. Or if a person's in a wheelchair, you won't be able to see the screen on top either. What are you going to do? Whatever the case, it is a nice screen, and it's made pretty intuitively. So you can hit the button for coffee and you see just the coffee drinks. You can hit the button for milk and then you see all the drinks that are milk based. So that's pretty convenient. You can press the button for the profile and choose between 4 different profiles. And finally, you can also press on the settings icon and look at various settings such as rinsing, descaling, your water filter, turn the beeps on and off, your auto standby, and so on and so forth. So the screen itself has got a nice resolution, it's color, and the colors do look good. I can see it at this angle already quite well, so the viewing angles are pretty good. It might have been nicer if it was here in the front, kind of slanted towards the user's eyeballs that way. But all in all, it's a pretty nice display. It does have a few things that kind of confuse me. If I click on coffee, it has a coffee drink on there with ice cubes, as well as an espresso with ice cubes. And that would make you think, I guess this can do cold coffee and cold espresso. No, it cannot. It's pretty funny. All that does is it just gives you the idea that you could, put a cup underneath here, put some ice in it, and then you could extract an espresso on top of it. Well, you can do that without one of these macro buttons too. So it does not do cold drinks. It also doesn't do cold milk foam. Let's get that out of the way right away. Now this machine also, besides having a new design for the water tank, which I do appreciate, it's cute. Somehow the machine is cute. Something else that's interesting about the machine, and I gotta turn this off to show you. Now before we go any further, I should mention this is the very first time in the 3 years I've been making videos that Delonghi has sent me something. They sent me this machine, which I was kind of happy about because these are pretty expensive. And I've bought all the other machines that I own, all on my own. So this is provided by Delonghi for a review, but I'm gonna tell you what I think about this machine regardless of that fact. And no, I didn't get paid on top of receiving the machine to review. I'm just doing an organic review. Ooh. What's interesting about this machine is it does have a slightly different brew group. Let me try to shift it this way again so you can see inside. So this is the Delonghi Brew Group. I do like it very much. It produces nice coffees for me, and I like it quite a bit better than other brands, to be honest, because it allows you to grind up to 15 grams, and this one seems to be no different, although it is slightly smaller. You can see that it's not quite as deep as this one here, which is from another Delonghi Superautomatic that I've got. But yeah, in general, these brew groups have a very similar design. It's just slightly smaller on the new Rivelia. 44, interesting. They are both, however, 44 millimeters, just for your reference, here in diameter. But probably the feature that people love the most about the Rivelia is the fact that you can exchange the bean hoppers. So when you do that, you get a choice. Do I want to put the last 10 grams into my grounds container, or do I want to make a drink with it? You can do either way. So if you remove this one, let's say this is caffeinated beans, and you put on your decaf for the afternoon, that's all you have to do. Choose to grind and empty, and you can do that, or you can choose a drink and make one. So that's a really nice feature. Of course, people will probably be wondering, well, am I going to use it that often or not? Because either you have to waste 10 grams of beans, or you have to make yourself a drink. So if I'm switching from morning to afternoon and I want to go from caffeinated to decaf, well, what that means is if I would actually use the beans that are still in there, then I'm gonna have a caffeinated drink anyway, which I'm probably gonna pour out, or I'm just gonna have to grind and purge. So you're gonna be wasting beans either way. But it is a cool idea, and I do like it for the fact that if you wanna try different types of beans, you know, lighter roast, darker roast, decaf, normal, you do have the opportunity to do it. We're gonna make an espresso, we're gonna make a milk-based drink in just a moment here, but I'm pretty sure that what people are gonna be wondering is how good is the espresso on this guy compared to other Delonghi offerings, and that has, for me, a lot to do with the size of the puck. So here's an example of a puck right here that I just pulled out of this machine. You can see it's nice and compact. It's able to grind fine enough. I can even actually stall this machine with fresh beans. I'm on a grind of 4.5 right now. And I've measured this to be somewhere around 15 grams. So it is able to make pucks about the same size as your other higher end Delonghis like the Dynamica Plus, like the Elite Explorer. It does make bigger pucks than the Magnifica Evo will, or the Magnifica S. So that is a good thing. At this point in time, let's just go ahead and make ourselves an espresso. Now I am using a nice freshly roasted bean here. These are beans from a local roastery. They are probably about 4 or 5 weeks old, and they have been roasted gently. That means over a longer period of time, probably like 15 minutes, which is a good thing. All right, let's go ahead and make an espresso. And how I got my espresso set up is I've got the intensity set at 5, which means it's going to grind for 10 seconds, which is gonna give me about 15 grams. And I got it set for size small. So I'm looking for a 1:2 ratio, meaning 15 grams in of coffee powder and about 30 grams out of actual liquid in my cup. Let's see what we get. Tamping. It's going to do a little pre-infusion. And start with the extraction. You can see there's quite a bit of crema coming out there. And the reason being because this is a nice fresh bean. So there I got my 30 grams, 1:2 ratio. And I got a nice looking shot there. So that's one of the most important things. You want to make sure you're using fresh beans. These beans are right around 4 weeks old or so. And see how it tastes. That's a pretty intense shot because of that 1:2 ratio. I get a lot of chocolate coming through. I don't get a lot of other flavors in there. Like, I find that the depth of flavor on these super automatics is not quite the same as a normal portafilter machine, but they do quite a darn good job, especially considering that all you're doing is pressing a button.
Getting value from this video? Please take a moment to like and subscribe.
Next, let's go ahead and make a latte macchiato. So milk foam first and then espresso on top, and we'll program it too. Pretty easy to do. First of all, I'm gonna hit the milk macro so that I can see only the milk-based drinks. I'm gonna go to my Latte Macchiato, press on the settings. I'm gonna press start, intensity. I'm gonna definitely take 5 for intensity. That's for the espresso again. And hit next and brew. Okay. So what Delonghi does is you could hear it ground first, but it's gonna actually do the milk first in the process. All right, I'm gonna stop the milk right there. And here comes my coffee on top. You could hear it in between, just cooling the boiler down a little bit, the thermal block rather. And here comes our espresso on top. Not too shabby. I'm gonna stop it right there. Now it's gonna ask me if I wanna save that for the future, and yes I do. Save. Bam! Latte Macchiato is set. It's as simple as that. And now it's going to tell me to do one more thing. It wants me to go ahead and click this to clean. It's going to run some water through there. All right, good to go. So it's important to clean this carafe afterwards, and you do want to actually take it apart and clean it completely at least once a week so that it doesn't become gross. Let's see how that drink is. Can be a little bit bitter if you don't stir it first. That is a pretty good latte macchiato. So there's 2 things that are important for that. Of course, the milk texture, the milk temperature as well. And I did some temperature tests. This is coming out right around between 60 and 65 degrees Celsius for the milk. And then you want a nicely extracted 1:2 ratio espresso on top. And for that does a pretty good job. I find that the texture is nice. The texture is quite good. It's not quite the same as what I can do manually on a portafilter machine, but this is just a press of a button and it gets it pretty darn good every time. So that's the nice thing. You have consistency and it's easy to use. It's just slightly more frothy than how I would make it if I was doing it manually. So I'd like to give you a couple tips with this machine as well. Always remember to remove, oh, there's something I nearly forgot. You gotta hold this, or if you don't, it's gonna fall down and potentially make a mess. I think that was a design miscue with this machine. You see how this just kind of falls down like that? Yeah, anyway, what you wanna do is remove this and empty it at a regular basis, even when it's not full, because these can start to mold and become gross inside. And another thing, make sure to clean out your milk carafe on a regular basis so that does not become gross. And as a third thing, make sure to use really good fresh beans, like I'm using here, and you'll be good to go. Another thing is, this machine does come with a filter, install a filter, and if you run out of these, make sure to use filtered water. That will make sure that your machine keeps working for a long time, because if you don't use filtered water and if you don't descale on a regular basis, the machine has to deal with a whole lot of calcium, magnesium, different minerals in the water, and that really just wreaks havoc on everything inside, particularly in the really hot water path. What I want to do next is I want to show you how you can switch out the different hoppers, because that's cool. Let's say I want a decaf. It's the afternoon already. Let's have a decaf let's have a decaf coffee crema. Let's do that. So all I gotta do is unscrew this 90 degrees. I'm just gonna throw the grinds away because I don't actually want caffeinated beans right now. So I'm just gonna toss them. It's ejecting. And I have weighed these, it's right around 10 grams or so. I'm gonna remove this and it's empty, fully empty. Maybe I can show a close-up of that. Fully empty. Then I'm gonna put on my decaf beans. Just like that. And let's make ourselves a coffee crema. Coffee. Where are you? Here's coffee crema. I've already got it set for an intensity of 5, and I also have the size dialed in. Should fit in this cup. Let's go. Alrighty, so there's my coffee crema right there. And that is what I like to drink every morning. That's my first drink, almost always. That's pretty good. I like coffee crema because you have a good amount of body on the tongue. In particular, the first sips because of the crema on top. And it's nice and hot. It's just a nice way to start the morning. Now, it'd be kind of silly of me to not show you the difference of the Rivelia compared to a standard Delonghi Superautomatic. Like this one here, this is the Start, which is essentially the same thing as the Magnifica Evo. So you can see, just the contour here is much different. It takes up less space as a contour thing, but the height is actually a little bit higher here on the Rivelia. The Rivelia is about 38 centimeters tall, and actually the depth is I think exactly the same. I got them both lined up to the back of the table here, and the depth looks to be exactly the same between the two. And we got 44 centimeters in depth. And in width, I got, with the water tank attached, 25 centimeters or 10 inches. Now, another question that I get pretty often is people will ask me, how about the tea? How hot does the water get? So if I remove the hot water spout and put that in, you can go ahead and just press the water. I have tested it. I get it right around between 90 and 95 degrees for hot water coming out. All right, let's draw some conclusions. What can I say about the Rivelia? So I think it is a very cute machine. I like the rounded edges. It's slightly smaller than other machines are. It's kind of higher priced, to be honest. It's got a nice screen on the top. I love that it will grind for up to 10 seconds so that you can actually get a decent puck of 15 grams. I find that the milk foam, just like on all the other Delonghis, is nice. Good texture, in particular for super automatic. It's really cool that it can switch out the hoppers one for another. So it's got some interesting things going for it. All right, guys, if you made it this far in the video, do me a favor and write #Rivelia and write a couple words. What do you think about this machine? I'm curious to know. All right, guys, I hope that you liked the video. Hope it was helpful and gave you a little bit of insight into this machine. If so, give it a like. If you thought it was terrible, give it a thumbs down. Whatever the case, until next time, I say happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking. Bye now.